Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, and welcome this evening to another episode of In Review. And thank you for those joining me on TikTok, those joining me on Instagram, and those joining me on YouTube as well. Preferably YouTube. I'd encourage you to jump over onto YouTube. That'd be great at Sylbourne TV. That would be fantastic. Well, it's another week. Today is the 11th of July 2024, halfway in the year so far. And it's a very interesting time that we're halfway in the year. And, it's a new era, one would say, with a new government, new things which are happening as well. But of course, I'm going to bring in um, my guest, residential guest as well, and we'll talk about what the week has been like since last week, actually, since the new government. There's some very devastating thing which has happened in the UK. At the same time, we had the impact of Hurricane Beryl in the Caribbean as well. But yeah, let me just bring in Herbert, and we take it from there. Yeah. Hey, Herbert, how you doing, sir?
How you doing, my brother?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. It's another week, another very interesting week.
Yeah, it is. It has been.
Yeah. Um, I would say that I think the first thing I would say though for this week, and before going into anything, is the unfortunate demise of these three ladies in Hertfordshire. Funny, I was in Hertfordshire a couple of weeks ago. Um, the Hunt, the wife, the daughter, and the two daughters of John Hunt,
Yeah.
were killed by this crazy guy. I was saying it seemed to be a spurn lover, and then it turned out to be a spurn lover. What's your thoughts on it, sir? Yeah,
Yeah. Condolences to him and his other remaining family member.
yeah,
Um, it's sad that a parent, another parent, has been left to mourn the loss of his family, his daughters,
mm,
and has been left to bury his children. It
yeah,
shouldn't be like that, but unfortunately, in today's world,
yeah.
it has become a commonplace. Uh, people don't people don't really believe in having dialogues anymore.
Yes, yes. And this whole thing about dispute resolution, no one wants
And,
to actually,
it does it's not a one size shoe fit all kind of business.
yeah.
There's some people, no matter how you dress it up and fix it up, they just cannot be helped with dispute resolution or any kind of mediation.
Mm. What do you think about this sorry,
Crossbow.
yeah. They're not talking about this. I mean, this sort of weapon which has been around for youngs. What's your take on this thing?
You see, again, we live in an apologetic society where things happen before we get a reaction.
Mm,
You're not the first family to be attacked using crossbow, but because of the status of a family member, it is now become the topic of discussion,
mm,
right? And I think the government, and when I say government, I don't mean literally the government, but all the government agencies that has to do with um, that has something to do with crime fighting should have come up with policies long ago to criminalize the use of crossbow. I
yes.
do not think in today's world crossbow has any place in any modern society.
Mm. But it is used for sports, if
It,
anything.
it doesn't matter if it's used for sports. I was
Mm,
listening to an expert this morning on my way to work, and he was saying that this crossbow in question can be used like an automatic weapon.
Yes.
You fire one bow and one is automatically ready to go.
Mm.
So instead of using a firearm, or why use a firearm when you can use a crossbow for cheap? Or for you have access to a crossbow.
Yeah.
I bother with a firearm or a knife.
Yeah. Yeah. Gary, good evening. How are you doing, sir?
Man, I'm pulled from pillar to post, my brother.
Well, man, come to Ambition
Just
Clark.
What do you say? What do you say, Herbert?
Man, come to Ambition Clark to mean business.
yeah, being business tonight.
Gary?
New government, new everything. So you have to come
Yeah, man, come to
ready.
Ambition Clark, man.
How you doing
See,
there? How you doing there? Everybody
I'm
all
all
right?
right.
mm. See, you're moving with the times, Gary. You're moving with the flowing with the times.
Yeah, I have to, man. I have to flow at the times. I have to flow at the
Mm.
times.
We were just talking briefly about the killing of the mother and her two daughters there in Enfield, Hertfordshire. Um, it was last night, was it? At
No,
7 p.m.
it was announced last night.
Yeah.
But from what I've been hearing from interviews, it happened the day before.
Yes. I think it's at 7 p.m. or so,
Yes.
like that.
Yeah. But it was only made public last night.
Yeah, it happened the day before. Yes. Yes. It's just sad. It's just a sad situation. I mean, I don't know. Well, it has been said. I think it has been said that that the young man was the boyfriend of one of the girls, young ladies.
It was dumped.
Yes, and he couldn't take it.
It was
I
what?
mean,
Sorry, what do you say?
He was dumped.
Yeah. Yeah, it was dumped, yeah.
you know. So I don't know what happened there. I don't know what happened there. Just sad. Just sad. You see, there's so many people. There's so many people who have, and I don't even know if we can really class it as mental issues, but that's what people are going to be saying now anyway. So many people have mental issues that they can't take.
Gary.
People can't take either rejection, they can't take loss, they can't take what's the other disappointment.
Rejection.
Gary.
Rejection, disappointment. Across the I'm not hold on, Herbert. I'm not just talking about in relationships, I'm talking about across the board in life in general. People who can't take rejection, disappointment, and everything else. Life is not our people, our young men, our young ladies, they are not being prepared for anything at all. I mean, it would just seem, Herbert, and I know you have something to say, and I don't really want to take the time from you, but I just want to make the point in that it's just felt as if everything is positive, success, prosperity, not knowing really that the opposite of prosperity is what? Is nothing at all. The opposite of success.
Yeah, it's having yeah. It is the opposite would be there'll be failures at times, there'll be disappointments as well. So what you're actually saying, Gary, is that the young people of today, they are not trained to understand that this is a part of life. It is like everything needs to be nice, everything needs to be hunky dory, is it?
Yeah. Yes. And I'm sure Herbert is going to make a valid point in another way, which is
how does disappointment equates to one mental illness? We face
Well, I mean,
disappointment every day,
Yeah.
but that does
yes.
not mean that we are going out there to take out our disappointment on the people who disappointed us.
Do you think the
That
bar? Do you think the bar? I have no sort of empirical study on this, but do you think the bar for mental health has dropped a bit?
very low,
You know,
very
whereby
low,
everything now, not everything, but a lot of things now are now being categorized as mental health,
very
or
low.
you have mental health issues of a negative level. When really and truly, come on, man, get up, let's get going, crack, slap in the back here, or something like that.
No, the phrase mental health has become so overused that
Mm.
even the mental health phrase is tired of being used.
So it's like calling wolf to a certain
Yeah.
extent.
Yes.
Gary, what do you say about that? And ladies and gentlemen, what do you say about that, especially?
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, our the question that 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 Herbert asks is a valid question, but everything is put down everything is put down to mental illness, though, isn't it?
Yes.
Look
I
here.
mean, if I went out there, if I left here right now, it's not something to talk about, but this is a serious issue. If I left here after this right now, and 12 hours later, you heard that Gary Graham stab up a man on the high street, yeah, I guarantee you somebody's going to say Gary have mental issues. And probably not mental issues I have at all.
And Gary was just a bad man.
No,
Yeah.
but when as children,
Yeah.
we all wanted to become adults, didn't we?
Yes.
But growing up, becoming adults come with certain pains and disappointments. Right? Because I'm certain your parents may have been telling their children, these are the things that you do, these are the things that you don't do. But because children are experts in everything that they do and everything that they don't know, they flag off their parents and tell them that they're stupid, they don't know what they're talking about. Until when something happened, then they come talk about mental illness, bipolar. They're disrespecting the people who are genuinely facing issues of mental illness.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny. It may sound funny. It may sound cruel to some extent, and it's not when I look back at it. But when Herbert and Sylbourne, when we were growing up, right, one look from your mother would just straighten you up straight away.
Yes. What? 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 What you say?
Mental issue wouldn't come in. You see, this generation here, not only this one, probably the one before it also,
Yes.
is getting away with, excuse the pun, is getting away with murder.
And literally and murder, because one of the things also what they say whenever you have, and this always comes out a lot, whenever you have a white person doing murder or so in America, mass killing, they always bring it up to mental health. Yeah. Whenever it's a brown guy or so, they call it terrorism.
Yeah. Or just playing wicked from a band.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So it can be it can be categorized and it can be socialized, right? Depending on your upbringing,
Yeah.
it has something to do with your mental health.
Yes.
Depending on your upbringing, you're just born criminal,
Yeah.
Yes.
right? And in truth and in fact, the person who they say just born a criminal was suffering from issues of mental illness from the day they were created. But because they mask it so well,
Yeah.
they were active members of society.
Well, there's something
Right?
else also which we saw earlier. There's someone in Bristol, and they're showing this black guy picture going around now, whereby they found two suitcases with body parts, Gary and Herbert, and it's
Yeah.
just come up in the news now. So they are now having some massive sort of understanding as to what happened, and actually they're going to be looking for that guy, isn't it? There's a man hunt for
Yeah.
that guy, isn't it?
No,
In a sense,
not going to. They're looking for him.
not a man hunt.
Pardon?
Where is it? They're looking for him now.
Yeah. They're looking for him.
Yes,
They found the taxi driver
yes.
and they've spoken to a female witness who was helping him.
Mm.
It's just a matter of time before he's invited him.
Yes, yes. So you see, Gary, this is what is happening now, in this world that we're at, because you know you see the great things are happening, of course, like with football, new government, but at the same time, we're all pulled back to recognize that within this world there is evil. Um, I was listening to even talking about the international thing with NATO and with Ukraine and with Russia. You have to ask yourself this question now. Like they're saying, we prepare for war, and you really think about this and say, why are they killing themselves? What, what is this killing of each other at this time now for? Some are saying they're preparing for war with Putin. You know, preparing. You know, what
No,
is it?
if they're talking about preparing for a war with Putin, they're 20 years late,
Yes,
right? I'm not sure how long you guys have been following Putin, but from he changed the constitution to remain in office until 2036.
wow, that was what
20.
Mugabe wanted, wasn't it?
Yes, but Mugabe was too old,
Mm,
right? They should have taken no, but no, they kept trading with him cheap oil and gas. They gave him Formula One, they gave him Olympics, they gave him World Cup. So they treat him like a normal human being.
yes,
And this
yes,
is this is what has come back to bite them now because um, to host major sporting events, they were funded by FIFA and FIA, the Formula One, the IOC, to come and play in the backyard. So it is all these monies that has been given to the Russian the 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 Russian government is now coming back to bite the Western government,
mm, mm,
right? The last time I checked, China was a communist, is still a communist, Russia and Cuba.
mm,
However, the Cubans are left to suffer,
mm.
right? While the US trade with China and Russia. The Western world trade with China and Russia because of cheap oil and commodities.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So what is the difference between Cuba, Russia, and China,
Mm,
along with other pariah states?
yes. It's interesting. But let's just move on quickly into the new Prime Minister, Sir Starmer. You can see that he's walking up and looking into all the different prime ministers. He's now etched in history. the new Prime Minister Keir Starmer is presently at NATO. Um, I was listening to some of the new words which are coming out, and one of the things that I see keep coming out a lot is it's a broken NHS. The prison is broken. I've seen something which is more devastating than what we had before. So there, I think for a while, I wouldn't be surprised, and I put my pennies down that Labour is going to be blaming Conservative for a very long time. What
Well,
what's your what's your take on the new developments with Sturman, giving him the honeymoon period, if there's any honeymoon, of course, you know.
how long can they play the blame game for?
Well, I think Conservative was using it for a long time, you know.
No, 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 no. We're not looking. You're not supposed to look on the other side of the fence,
Yeah.
right? You're supposed to know, look at what you fought for for 15 years to be in power.
Yes. Yes.
And now you have it, especially with a majority of that magnitude.
Yes.
You should have been planning 5 years ago, 10 years ago, who you're going to put where to
Mm,
fix what problem and how it is going to be fixed. So now that you have the government, you are now the government, central government.
mm,
You should have had that plan long in place to fix it whenever you get in. Not to be constantly blaming the outgoing government or the past administration.
mm,
Because by now you have had your plan. Who is your foreign minister? Who is your security minister? And fix the problem.
mm.
Yeah, we know the institutions are broken, but we don't want to be reminded that they're broken. You know it, fix it. It is not the customer's problem to know that your organizations are failing. Fix it, make it look good.
Yeah. Gary, what's your take on that? On the new government?
Well, um, the Labour Party must not. I don't think the Labour Party should get too bogged down in finding the faults and the failures of the Conservative Party and begin to blame anybody. I think if what I've heard Herbert say, which is to just get on
Get
with
on
the
with it.
work, yeah, then I will agree with that. I mean, they must get on with it. If they get on with it, then the country will see that the Conservative Party, if they didn't do anything, and
Mm,
that Labour Party is putting things right. But you see, sometimes where we go wrong is that people shout about the things that weren't done, but yet still the person who can do something still don't do anything. But
mm.
they're pointing out that things are wrong. So yes, I believe that the Labour Party must get on and do it. I'm very surprised, and I do like anyway what Sunak Rishi did in his speech. I think he commended and he spoke very highly of Keir Starmer anyway.
You mean
And
at the dispatch box, or sorry, or at his
at the
his on the,
dispatch box, at the
yes.
dispatch box, yeah. And I think I commend Rishi for that. Um, with Starmer, as I have said before the election, I didn't see anything in Starmer, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
And that was what I said before. But even now, looking at Starmer, I think that um, if I give him a little bit more time, I think that he's looking a little bit more statesman-like. I
Mm.
think I think the makeup artist somewhere down in number 10 there is making him look good. You know, the hairstylist and the
In that picture there?
such. Well, I don't know if that picture is what I'm referring to, but I've seen him as he gave his prime minister. That looks good. I like that.
Mm.
When he gave his first
Maiden speech there.
not the maiden speech. When he was in a particular room in Penn Downing Street there,
Okay.
with the journalists, press
Okay.
conference. His
Okay.
first his first press
Okay.
conference.
That press conference there. Yes.
I liked how he presented himself. And I think that even saw him walk into his plane to go to NATO. He's looking more presidential than prime minister.
And Prime Minister, you mean to say he's looking more presidential than Biden?
Well, anybody would look more presidential than Biden at the moment, really, because Biden should step down. I think Biden should step down. He's not helping himself. He's not helping the party, the Democratic Party, and he's certainly not making America look good.
But it's interesting how we're moving in this way, because I think things are now leaning towards America with NATO, and NATO is talking about what if Trump comes on and sort of push everything back to the burners again. But the big question we just put to Sir Keir Starmer is, how was your discussion with Biden? Is it true how he came across, like what many people are actually saying? Because we've got George Clooney has come out now to say that this is not the same guy that I knew in 2016 or recently. We got to change him, And what's her name? The former Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, also alluded to that at the same time about the president. But the president is saying, until God come down and tell him and change, and that's what he says.
But remember, they all show that sign of defiance.
By Biden.
No, they all do. Because remember, even Boris.
Yeah,
Boris showed that defiance spirit where he said he was not going nowhere. Even when the rug was being pulled from under his feet.
Yeah, but do you know what? Do you know what I realized this with politicians as well? They always say that I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going to. I've got full confidence in my minister, and then all of a sudden, 2 2s after, you see a dispatch box come out at the front.
Yeah,
they resign.
Yeah, so I wouldn't feel too confident to say he's not going nowhere.
Yes.
Right? Because once the support network around you start failing, and you find yourself in a corner by yourself with 4 walls closing in on you, you have no choice but to say, you know what? I can't do this by myself.
Because I believe Disney,
that area has come out and said she's not funding him.
Yes.
Right? And a couple other celebs have come out to say they need someone different.
Yes.
Right? Because I'm listening to major networks in the US. And it's a Democrat election to lose.
It's a Democrat election to lose.
Yes, because the Republicans, or not even the MAGA, have handed the election to them. You cannot go into an election without having a policy. And the Republicans are coming up with nothing but hate. Right? The Project 2025 project, and the Steve Bannons and the Peter Navarro's, they're all coming back with revenge. Right? The world is moving away from authoritarianism.
Yeah.
Right? Going back into that era 200 years ago, it's not happening in America. The American people are silent for a reason. A poll was done yesterday where 75% have the deep feeling that Trump will take America back into the dark ages.
But let's jump over into France a bit and Marine Le Pen. Are you saying that is what could have happened with Le Pen taking it? So what about Farage then? Reform to a certain extent. Is that what you're alluding to?
I
that they're
told you
going.
Farage wasn't going nowhere.
All right. Okay. So let's look at this then. So we're talking about a set of people who are rising up. We are talking about the reform nature. Reform is, of course, maybe disgruntled conservatives. Some deem to be far right, but some are really just sending a message, voting tactically, sending a message straight to the conservative. In France, you are seeing a rise of people who believe that, or it could be said, that their voices are not being heard. In America, you're seeing that same crowd and more going for Trump. Are we trying to say that those voices are voices that will take the world back into a, 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 a zone, an era which we are moving from? So is that now saying
Yes.
that the left is the answer, the savior for the world?
Yes.
You're
Remember,
saying the left is
Marie
the answer, the savior for the world.
Marie Le Pen,
Yeah.
right?
Hi, Michelle. How are
She's
you doing?
she's following in the steps of her father,
Yes.
Jean-Marie Le Pen.
Yeah.
Remember, he was defeated in Algeria,
Yeah.
right? And because of that, she wants to take her revenge against a certain set of people,
He was
right?
defeated in Nigeria.
Algeria.
In Algeria, he was defeated in Algeria.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they're not French. They're not from France then.
Oh no, they invaded Algeria
Okay, you mean
in the
okay,
60s.
okay.
France.
Yes, France invaded Algeria in the 60s. And they were defeated by the Muslim women who went into their places of comfort, their restaurants and their cafes, and bombed them.
Mm.
Hence, the reluctance to engage with Muslim women in France who wear their hijabs.
Yeah.
Right? So Marie Le Pen wants to carry on the legacy of her father, who is still alive.
He's still alive. He's still alive.
Yes, he's still. I was reading about him last week.
Mm.
Okay, I thought he had
Right?
died. Mm.
So the world is seeing the rise of the populist movement. It started with Berlusconi, as I was telling you guys some months ago.
Mm.
Right? You don't need to know much about politics. You just need to tell the people what they want to hear. Okay? And that is what is happening in America right now.
Gary, you hear what Herbert is saying, and people, you have heard what Herbert is saying, and those on Facebook and YouTube, want to thank you so much for joining. What Herbert is saying is that the rise of the right, the rise of Le Pen, Trump, reform is poised to be taking the world back to the middle age or so. So what you're saying, and what I'm picking up from you, Herbert, is that the voices, the millions of people who are actually thinking a particular way, could it be that they're actually saying the world is not listening to them, people are not listening to them? Every time they bring up things on immigration, your xenophobia, your racism, whatever like that, when they talk about housing and so like that, and you say we've got to be careful of our borders, xenophobia, racist, or whatever like that, are you trying to say that those people should not have a voice?
We're not saying I should have a voice, right? But immigration, this world was built on immigration, right? If we dare to talk about Christopher Columbus and
Well, he didn't really,
the
he didn't.
the, 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 the
He,
transatlantic slave,
the world found him.
right? Now, remember in it was early 2000s when then French president, I think it was I
Mediterranean.
forgot which president it was in France,
What year was that?
wanted to hold a referendum on immigration.
Is that Mediterranean? That's not France or Mediterranean?
No,
Oh.
no, it wasn't him. The name will come.
Yeah.
Right? And the footballers Zidane and Henry and Vieira and all that team of '98 World Cup, told them that if you go along that road, we're going to stop playing football for France. Right? Because they're all immigrants. Zidane is from Algeria. Henry is from Munster, Waterloo.
Yes.
Right? Now, do you want them to stop playing football? Do you want them to stop bringing in finances to your country? No.
So therefore, what you're saying then, just like with the the move in France, whereby they all work together and collude together in a way to stop the.
All right.
Gary, what's your take on that point? What's your take on that?
On what point?
The point about the right taking things into the backward medieval era. The left is the answer for the world.
The left is the answer for the world, and the right is what?
The right is, according to Herbert, you're going all the way back into some medieval world. Michelle, what's your take on that? Trump is taking it to the backward world. Le Pen is taking it to the backward. Reform is taking it all the way back. The way forward is the left.
I mean, why can't we find if we've got a political leanings like left and right, why can't we find
a middle ground?
A middle ground.
There's no middle ground.
Yeah, but why can't we
find you got center right and center right and left of center left.
Yeah. What really is happening, right? Is that the individuals with the loudest megaphone,
yes,
has the ears of the common people.
Yes.
Right? If you notice in the debate last month, for the entire night, the only truth that Donald Trump told or spoke was if he was asked his name. Anything after that was a lie.
Yeah. So while his mouth was speaking, it was lying.
Yes, as long as his mouth start open. Right? Even him himself convinced that he's telling the truth.
Yes. Yes.
And one of the things that liars do is tell the same lie over and over and over that everybody else believe it, even them believe it. Right? And because his followers are that illiterate, they will speak up for him because he casts himself as a martyr.
So you're alluding, before we jump on and move away from here, so what you're alluding to is that the followers of Donald Trump, the Americans, are illiterate.
Yes, a great majority.
No, you are making a massive.
Yes, yeah.
That followers of Donald Trump, the Republican, are illiterate.
The MAGA.
That's a very strong and
yes, I know that, because Donald Trump. Donald Trump doesn't have a law degree.
Starting to sue me and block me and stuff like that. You know?
Donald Trump doesn't have a law degree.
Yeah.
Take a book and start write down the amount of lawyers that have lost their license or is about to lose their license because of Donald Trump.
Okay. Well, it's very interesting. Well, let's jump into the party which is somewhat aligned to the Conservative and maybe to Trump, which is the Jamaica Labour Party in Jamaica. Gary, I don't know if you have seen of recent days that there was an Integrity Commission report that just came out. Integrity Commission report came out and said that they are now investigating 2 persons for illicit enrichment. 2 persons. So lots of people took that, Gary, and say there's not 6 anymore. It is actually there's not 6 anymore. It's only two. That's what they said. It's not six anymore. It is actually two. And then lo and behold, after checking it, really, it's actually eight. It is eight now, 8 persons now who are being investigated for illicit enrichment because the report spoke to 23, 24, didn't speak about 22, 23. So we got 8 persons now. So the big debate which is going on in Jamaica now is this: should these guys be named? Should these, and nationwide and a few other, I think Gleaner, they run with it to say that it is now 2 persons. So in a way, the Prime Minister is saying that there should not be any fake news, but fake news was coming through the mainstream. Alternative, and persons have to pin it down and say, actually, it is now 8 persons. Now, my big question is this, and I say it to a lot of persons, and I think Daniel Archer from National Integrity Action, who came on the show, she's of the view that they should be named. What's your take on this, guys? Ladies and gentlemen, Michelle, everyone, what's your take? Should these guys be named the Integrity Commission?
If they are public servants, yes. I mean, if they are people representing the people, then of course they should. I mean, why is it one law for one and another set of rules for the other? When in the private sector, when things happen, they want people to be named. They want people to be shamed. They want people to be, hung, drawn, and quartered, so to speak. But when it comes to people within the public sector, then it's, no, they shouldn't be named. They shouldn't be judged. But they've done something wrong, isn't it? I mean, what is this? What is the this enrichment? What is it that they've been enriched by or of?
Well, this is a big issue. That's a private bit about it, is that the investigation is going on because I think with illicit enrichment, it's like corruption, or it is like, hang on a second, you're supposed to be earning this. We can't understand how you have this amount of assets or whatever like that. And things are maybe not adding up. But according to what someone said to me, according to the law is that they cannot be their names cannot be said. I think the both parties actually agreed or passed laws that these names should not be disclosed. My view,
they're politicians, aren't they? Aren't they politicians?
Exactly,
right.
Exactly.
So if they're I'm saying this, if they're politicians and they are to be custodians of the law, doesn't matter what department, doesn't matter what side of government they are, whether in the opposition or they are in the government, they ought to be examples which are being set for the rest of the nation to follow. Now, how can a nation, how can a people do any better than what the politicians are doing? Why? I mean, it's in any sphere of in any sphere of society, whether it is religion, whether it is in business, economic, whatever, in the education, doesn't matter what it is. Nobody can rise above the leader. Nobody rises above those who are in leadership. So if the leadership is crooked and somebody below them sees that they're crooked and begins to speak out, there's no way they're going to be heard. Because the leadership above them is going to keep them quiet. If it's just like that, let me say within religion, in any religion, and let me speak about within the church, Christian church, Pentecostal or evangelical, there seems to be a lot of problems within that area now, right? And if the pastor is crooked, wicked, selfish, lives an immoral life, the church in which he is supposed to be the leadership of
Yes.
will not. At some stage it's going to show, and that church is going to suffer.
Yes.
That
Yeah.
church is going to suffer. So why is it, people near and far, and all your leaders and all your listeners, why is it that the politicians can get away with with um with fraud and with under the table deals, and
Allegations. Yeah.
yeah, and yet when it happens to you as the little man, you as the little man has to bear the consequence.
Yes.
It's only that you're following what the politician is doing, but you get caught, them don't get caught, and if they do get caught, they can get away with it. It's very, very unfair.
Herbert, your take, should there be these 8 persons being investigated for illicit enrichment, persons who are in public life, persons who are maybe overseeing key departments that maybe they have been investigated within or so, or off? Should they be recused of that position, or should they be named, or so?
They should be. I think they should have been removed from office until the
What office are you
investigations.
talking? The member of parliament office, or
Member of Parliament and their ministerial posts
mm,
until the investigations were have been completed.
yes,
Right? You cannot be guardians of the Constitution, but you're hiding under the Constitution that you're supposed to be protecting. Right?
and you,
And the
and you
reason to
set up a law where you hide
yeah,
behind as well.
yeah, yeah. And the reason, Gary, why they do it is because they have sympathizers. They have people who are willing to take the fall for them. That's why they keep doing it.
Do you think the press in Jamaica scrutinize
It
these
is
guys?
one-sided.
Yeah.
The press is one-sided.
Mm.
Depending on what affiliation you have, or your association with a reporter or a news anchor, you can get your stories killed.
In relation to the press in Jamaica, for instance, who do you think which side do you think they're on?
In relation to what?
The
In
press?
relation to, relation
Yeah.
to the press. Which side do you think they're on based on what you've said, Herbert?
There's one media house that is known to have a strong allegiance to the Green Party. Right? And they will bury any story, negative story, that comes out for that party. Right? And you cannot have media which is supposed to be independent in 2024 pretending to be the mouthpiece of a political party, good or bad.
You see, I'm of the view that when parliamentarians or prospective parliamentary candidates go around the country of Jamaica, we saw it recently in the UK, whereby the parliament was dissolved. 650 MPs were not MPs anymore in one stroke of that. And then they all start to knock on doors and say, hey, vote for me. I'm the man, I'm the woman. And so like that, we saw a lot of upset. Many people have been lost their seat as a result. The key thing is that whenever you have public officials, persons who are sent to parliament by the people, sent to parliament by the people, it's a public official notice. And therefore, if there's an issue whereby they're being investigated for corruption or illicit, I believe that MP should be the one that go back to his constituents and say, listen, guys, let's have a town hall meeting. Let's have some serious meeting. I have been caught well, not should I say, I'm being investigated for XYZ, and I like your indulgence at this time. I believe it should be a public thing. And I believe also that if they're in a position of office, of trust, and they're being investigated in relation to their trust, their position of trust and integrity, they should recuse themselves for any
Yes,
level of
but
transparency. Yeah.
these current crop of politicians have used that to um to wake up their bases to
Mm,
gain support.
mm.
Because what they're quick to say is that I am being persecuted. This is a witch hunt.
Bad mind.
Bad mind,
Yes.
right? When in truth and in fact, no, it's not bad mind. It's just that you when you join politics, you had a Corolla. And by the end of your first term, you no longer have a Corolla, you have a Mercedes Benz.
No, two.
Well, there you go. I was trying to be modest,
No,
right?
a Cadillac Escalade.
There you go. And you should not. You're so
Two hours,
powerful.
two hours overseas.
Yes, you're so powerful that no one should question how you came by those assets. So you're the one standing in the halls of parliament
Yes.
adjudicating over people's lives. It's wrong.
Yes. You know something which I heard. I'm going to say it anyhow still, but you know the whole issue regarding a lot of vegetables and lots of farming was devastated by the
Burial.
burial.
Yeah.
It's coming to my attention as well that a lot of public officials, MPs or whatever like that, have their business where they import they import food into
Of
Jamaica.
course. Of course.
It's all mixed up,
Yes,
man.
the,
It's
fa-
all messy.
the farmers in Jamaica, especially in St. Elizabeth, they're suffering
Yes,
because South St. Elizabeth is a breadbasket of Jamaica,
yes.
right? For decades, they've been servicing the hotels right across the island.
Mm,
And no, they can't because there's an influx of imported vegetables in Jamaica, right? Remember, Burger King, KFC, Wendy's, all those fast food outlets at one point were highly reliant upon the St. Elizabeth farmers.
mm,
McDonald's went to Jamaica in the 90s and had to pull out because they did not want to support the farmers in the local farmers, beef, chicken, the bakeries, the vegetable. The agriculture minister at the time increased duty to 200%. If you want it, go buy it. But we are not giving you the concession that you want.
mm.
So where has that steadfastness gone?
Yes.
Where?
It's a very interesting time and interesting development. And do we believe that the people can hold their elected officials accountable, or they
No,
just swept under the green and the orange factor?
no, they can't because they have compromised their positions as supporters of politicians.
Mm,
Hence, the reason the politicians, the government, do not want us Jamaicans living overseas to get involved in the affairs in Jamaica because our eyes have been opened.
we can see very
Yeah,
clearly.
yeah, yeah.
You know, I was told by someone today that it's very important that us overseas really speak up and articulate these things from an objective level and not get sidestepped, because you see what has happened with some sort of uh, bloggers or so. They are now deemed to be that side and that side, and you know, it gets very tribalistic, Gary, and that sort of objectivity, even if it is objective, but one side you just get cut off right there. Oh, you're PNP. Oh, you're GLP. You know, I've been called PNP and GLP for many times. If I say something, oh, you're PNP, or you next say you're GLP or stuff like that. You know, and as a result of that, they just shut you down. You know, so the level of objectivity is not there. And I really would love to see a situation whereby the politicians or the media houses really because we know what happened over here. We know what happened over here with these guys. If anything happened with, and listen, let's ask this question. If there were 8 MPs in the UK right now being investigated for illicit enrichment, do you think that 6 of them could have been, well, there's 8 now, but do you think it could have been 8?
No, it wouldn't reach 4, let alone 8.
I mean,
And that is why Jamaica is struggling
yeah,
to climb out of the quagmire they're in when it comes to corruption prevention.
yes. The whole process of recall would kick in right away, and people remove that MP. The whole process of the press would come in, and that MP or so, they'll say, we have to know who it is.
Of course.
We have to know it is. As a matter of fact, it is just like that BBC presenter at the time, who
Yeah.
nobody, but all of a sudden the press was down. The same press was down
Yeah.
until you got to give up the ghost. You know
Of
what I'm trying to
course.
say?
Of course.
Had to give up the ghost, because the press over here, whether they're right or left, they're all gonna come down on the press.
Yes.
The press will build you up, and the press will tear down
Because
instantly.
there's something called integrity in media.
Yes.
You cannot be presenting something which you know is false.
Mm.
No, you're held to a high standard. So to our politicians, not because I vote in means that I owe you anything. No, you owe me something because I vote for you. You're working for me.
I must say, I watch sometime the JIS Prime Minister's press thing, or the press conference post cabinet thing, and when I looked at it, I realized, and I see the person asking the questions, and I said, they're just going through the motion. There's not a greatness like to grab the minister or grab that person and, you know get, like I saw one guy today was grilling. I forget what his name was, grilling Starmer. Starmer was twisting in his chair and he was grilling him at the same time. And after it, he said, "How are you? How are you feeling now? Are you happy now? Are you?" But he was grilling
Yeah,
him and said, "This is what's going to happen." That's what Rishi Sunak said. Rishi Sunak made a wonderful speech in the House of Commons the other day, and he said, "My job and our job is to hold the government accountable."
yeah.
You know, you have to ask the question: is the PNP holding the government accountable at the same time?
No, holding him accountable to their passports.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, it's wrong where the opposition is doing their job and the current administration ain't doing their jobs,
Mm,
because if they were, certain laws would have been passed in Jamaica long ago. Certain laws would have been upheld, and law enforcement would have been held to task.
mm,
But that's not the case. The
mm,
law enforcement arm of the Jamaican public is failing the Jamaican people
mm.
because they're shorted under politics.
Yeah. I do wonder at the recent dashboard if there's anyone that would stood up and actually challenge the government on some key point and issues there. I would love to know if there was anyone challenge them and point their finger in their face and say, "You, Mr. Prime Minister, you, Mr. This, you, blah blah blah. What is your point in this?" Like when the prophet touched that man in his chest, touched the leader in his chest, and said, "It is you, David. You are the man. You are the
Yeah.
man." You know, you need people to rise up and speak that very powerfully. And I think those in the diaspora um, have a key role to play, not within the diaspora organization or that structure where you are being suppressed. Many people are being suppressed because one of the things in Jamaica, what I get to understand is that people are fearful of speaking because guess what now? The prime minister is now talking about tracking people. So the bloggers or so is now being tracked if they're saying things. And the whole thing about it is that even the whole recent hurricane, you just don't know what to believe now because the, one was saying it was 60 shelters, one was saying it was 700 shelters, one was saying it was 900 shelters, which was out there. You don't know which is the fake news, and this is coming straight out of the mouth of the government at the same time, you know. And then persons who maybe want to help, then the politicians are saying, don't listen to that, don't listen to this, don't listen to that. So therefore, there's this confusion whereby it is like the government is not in partnership with the people. The government, in a sense, is against the people. Instead of actually trying to wheel people in and try to say, let's work together, you're fighting the people.
So tell me now, why I should take my money to send to the government in the name of rebuilding
Mm,
when we don't know what the use of what the money will be
mm.
used for, right? We cannot get involved in the electoral process, but we're encouraged to get we're encouraged to get involved in the rebuilding after burial.
Yeah, man, send the money. What do you mean? Send the money down, Bridget. Leave it.
Yeah,
Send it, come. Send it done fast.
so it's like it's like they're telling you, I'm hungry, send me some money, and I will tell you how the food tastes.
Yes, yes,
That's foolishness.
yes. Well, even the whole issue regarding the constitutional reform, that is also like a dead thing. One is not hearing anything about that. I mean, Gary, I know your views on that. You're not going to open your mouth on that because that's why you're concerned. That's not going anywhere. The king, the king is going to sit with it. I mean, somebody asked me the question the other day and said, Sylbourne, when is the next? When is the independent service or so? And I said, Brethren, I'll be very honest with you. A few years ago, maybe 5, 7 years ago, I decided and said, I'm not going to go to any independent service anymore. I can't do that when my heart is not in it. It's like I can't go and say I'm going to receive any MB or OB or so from the empire. I can't do that with my hand on my heart. I can't say I'm going to be going to some independent service to say we're independent,
I've never been
independent,
to one.
and yet you're swearing allegiance to the King of England.
I've never been to one.
You know, and as a matter of fact, August is coming up. I'm going to do a show. What is independence? How independent are we? Are we really independent? What are we celebrating? Nothing to do with the achievements of the people. The people have been achieving a lot. We're great at achieving things, but let's deal with this whole thing about independence.
Listen,
That's my position.
you cannot safely put Jamaican independence in the same sentence.
Mm,
It is grammatically wrong.
mm.
Yeah? Having your own independence means having your own self-determination.
Yes.
No guy can tell you what to do from outside in their own backyard, telling
Hold
you
on.
how
Hold on.
to govern.
Hold on. Let me change it. No boy, no girl, no girl, no.
No. No boy, no girl.
Should have a
Yeah?
wing.
You understand?
Is that what Portia was saying?
That's Portia. That's Portia. Yeah. No boy,
So
no.
for Jamaicans, for the Jamaican government to be said that we are an independent nation, tell that to the people who are intellectually blind.
Mm. They're not to the
Mm,
Trumpsters, the illiterate
yeah,
ones, isn't they?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Saudi Affairs, though, after 60 years,
Yes,
almost 70, you've been talking about moving away from the monarch.
yes.
Barbados started their process and finished it in 2 years.
It's a
Not to mention Trinidad, not to mention Guyana,
it's a shame. Actually, when you look at the bigger picture of it,
right?
62 years. It's a shame. It's a shame.
Not to
It's a shame.
mention,
Yes.
come on, man. And you talk about independence.
Yeah.
Let me tell you how serious it got. In the
Mm.
90s, when I was serving in the JCF, the government was prevented from buying arms for the police force.
Mm.
It was blocked by the EU, the UK, Canada, and the US.
Yes.
The reasons? Too much extrajudicial killing by members of the police force.
Mm.
So while the criminals were using AK-47s and all those high powered, we were stuck with 9mm and 38 revolvers.
Mm.
Fast forward to 5 years ago. How many people were killed by the police in the US?
Yeah.
Right? If the police in the UK had firearms or had access to firearms where every police officer were armed,
Yes.
this would have been another story.
Mm.
The stats will show you that black people were proportionally targeted by police officers using tasers in the UK as opposed to white people.
Mm.
So you don't want to tell me that Jamaica is an independent nation when people
Yeah.
are telling you what to do to your own criminals or how to solve crime in your backyard when our culture is different from yours?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the constitution needs to be reformed and lots of things, and take the power out of the hands of the government. Too much power, which is right there, as well, and we really take it from there. But guys, listen, it's a great. Michelle says, no, we are not really independent. We mean really. Let's deal with this way. We mean really. Are we independent or not? Just a yes or no, Michelle. We say really.
So it's not a question. There's no great here about really independent, nothing.
Michelle is
You're
really
not independent or you're not independent. Are you
yeah.
going to leave your parents' house as a man and go back every Sunday because you're hungry, you cannot afford a dinner?
Yeah. Yeah.
Are
But
you? Are
as,
you? Are
as,
you an
as,
adult?
as I say, one foot in, 1 foot out.
No. Once you put a foot out, the 2 foot supposed to be out and the door closed behind you. Don't let it hit you on the way out.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, guys, listen. It was great this evening, and I hope that people. I'm gonna tidy up the topic on it, because we didn't even talk about football, and football is coming home. You know that football is coming home, yeah. Gary, football is coming home
I'm
Sunday.
not. I'm
You
not
don't know
talking,
about football, man.
talking too quick.
Yeah, yeah, soccer. Yeah,
Gary,
Not
yeah.
talking too quickly at all. I
Gary,
think
what do you know about football, Gary?
I know a lot about football, man. You know a lot
Apart
about.
that it is played on a big green field.
No, man. Listen. The I'm gonna say something very controversial here, right? And
Yeah, let me hear you.
You're on
I
the
think
Sylbourne show. It's not. It's understood.
I think Sylbourne would have to do some mopping up after. But the to me the English team has never played better because of the amount of black players they put on the field.
Mm.
Personally, I think so.
No, the
Um,
the,
and
the, the
and
previous teams had good players, but they didn't play as a team.
Well, that again is true. They were good players, but they played for themselves.
Yeah.
And what I'm seeing here, also, I know that Harry Kane, good player as he may be, he's only scored because of a penalty. But in the course of play, in the course of play, Harry Kane has not scored, has he? And at the same time, it's only when he was taken off the field that England has played as a team, because it was seen that when he's on the team, on the field, they try to get the ball to him. He's the only person that can play, you would see, or score. And that's not playing as a team.
No, but Gary, you have to remember,
Playing as a team.
in football, you have to have that person who is...
No. I gave it a score. You don't have to watch anything Sunday. I give it a score already.
No. I mean, it's the same thing with Ronaldo. Same thing with Portugal, right? The only person it seemed that can score a goal and take free kicks is Ronaldo. Apart from one or two times they got, I can't remember his name, they got him to take a free kick. But every free kick that Portugal was given, they look for Ronaldo to take it, and that, to me, that don't make sense. Yeah. Because he never scored, did he? Did he score? No, he didn't.
No, he cried on the field.
Yeah, he cried. Yes.
Yeah.
But the thing about it, I agree with you, Herbert. I agree with you, Herbert, 100%. When you made a statement that they played as a team or they didn't play, in certain eras they did not play as a team. But now you can see that there is some sort and some resemblance of teamwork. Teamwork.
Let's take a pin right there. Michelle just come in on something. While the police in England doesn't carry guns, elaborate on that bit for Michelle.
Yeah, Michelle. Only the SWAT.
Yeah. If there's an incident of gun or so, that's where they come up.
They'll come up. But the regular day-to-day police on beat or on patrol, no, they don't carry a gun. They can't tell you how an empty firearm weigh.
Yes. Michelle has come around. She said, "Okay, no, we're not independent." I hope we didn't coerce you or force you or anything.
No. She was just indoctrinated.
Oh, indoctrinated. Gary, your point was finished regarding the football. You said the score is going to be what, 3-2, Gary, you said?
No, Gary never said that to him.
Where did I see that? I saw that.
Gary's a man of the cloth.
3-2, England.
Gary's a man of the cloth.
So what that mean? Tell me what that mean. What that mean?
You don't really tell lies on a Wednesday.
All right.
But when you say you don't tell lies on a Wednesday, you give the impression as if there's another day which is where that is being fascinating.
I'm not saying nothing more.
All right.
Well, Michael Manley said this. He said this. They lie on Monday, they lie on Tuesday, they lie on Wednesday, they lie on Thursday, they lie on Friday, they lie. God help them, they lie on a Sunday. Well, I think the picture gone.
The picture gone, Sylbourne, man.
Well, God help them, they lie on a Sunday. I never forget that.
But you know, he didn't say that though.
He didn't say that. He said it.
No, that was Gary Sadler.
Really?
Yeah, that was Gary Sadler.
Shucks. You mean the guy who irritated me? See, we're going to
Yeah,
my
that was
bed
your
to
son.
get one listen to a while, you know.
Eh?
The Lion Monday, the Lion
Yeah,
Tuesday.
that was
You
your
have, you
son.
have, you have, you have to draw it out. The Lion Wednesday, the Lion Thursday, the
Yeah,
Lion Friday,
because he
the
was speak,
Lion Sunday.
he even speak like Siaga too.
Oh, you speak like Siaga.
Yeah.
You start tingling in your pocket. There's an election time in Jamaica where the guys said, money shot jingle in your pocket, and it's a Leandro cartoon. Me no want no jingle, paper money me want. And then Siaga said in the Leandro cartoon again, Siaga said, there's light at the end of the tunnel, and another man said, that's an oncoming train.
Oh god.
That was Leandro. Those were days, you know what I mean? Anyway, guys, it was great having this discussion, and we look for Saturday night again. I think we're gonna delve a bit more. I tell you one of the things that I want to do though. I want to get some official person from the States and from the UK to speak on the whole issue of ethics. You know, what would happen if there were congressmen? What would happen if there were senators? What would happen if there were MPs being investigated for corruption? Would they be? What would happen? You know?
Well, there's a senator in New Jersey that's on trial now. Bob Menendez,
Yes.
illegal enrichment.
Yes.
Another foreign agent.
Yeah. I think we got to take it away from the noise and just bring it from. And I think another thing I want to ask questions about and to look at is, while it is not illegal, what is it like if MPs or a prime minister have their wife as Speaker of the House and so like that? I don't know if you guys saw the accolades that came upon the Speaker of the House, Lindsay Lohan, when he was appointed back again as a Speaker.
Yeah.
You know, you saw they were speaking very high of him and stuff like that. And one of the things that I pick up a lot with when it comes on to the Speaker in Jamaica is you keep hearing these issues about it's not nice, you know what I mean? You know, it is not so very above board, you know? You feel as if to say that she's hiding something. You don't sense that level of integrity and covenant. It could be, but it doesn't look good. And I think I've said it a lot, but people sometimes scared of saying it. And especially in Jamaica, people are scared of saying these things because they work for government and man will find them and stuff like that. You know, it is bad. But I think we really need to call a spade and look at these things and try to educate as much as people in regards to it. You know,
I've always said, while it may be legal for her to become a speaker, it is unethical for her to be the Speaker of the House.
Yes. Gary, I guess there's another day that he lies. That's what Michelle said, Gary. Don't be talking.
Sylbourne is shares at you.
That's right, Michelle. You stick up for me. You stick up for me.
Yeah, Sylbourne can't be doing that.
No, I'm not. No, I'm just.
He's a respectable man. He's a man of the cloth.
I am repeating.
Ambition class tonight.
As a host of the show, I've got to facilitate the different persons who are writing in. There's a person named Michelle Clark. I don't know where she's from. She said, I guess there's another day that he lies. And then she said, but she come back and said, don't be talking about Rev like that.
You think you can't talk about Rev like that?
The same person, yes. It's the same person. Same Michelle Clark.
You come Ambition Clark and you come dirt up the man like that. You can't be doing that, man.
Don't dirt him.
It's all right, everybody. My day of laughter will come.
Your day of laughter will come. Remember, you have a judgment already, Gary. I'm gonna try to find a clip of Gary's speech at his mother funeral of recent days. I'll send you a little clip of what he said there. So he has been to judgment and back. When God see him at heaven, God will say, you don't visit you. You have your judgment already.
Okay. Did you walk a white towel, right? And about the eyes. You went up in a damn towel.
Very dark.
And I wipe your eyes like, yeah, you really have said some tears when in truth and in fact the towel was damp.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, it's 10:30. Have a good night. Is it Christian time? Oh wow, Christian Times was very interesting tonight as well on TV. To see what they're saying with the new government as well. I think one thing about the just the last bit about the elections and what the Conservative is saying now is like they're saying to hold back from just having a new leader as yet. Let's get back. But Sydial Braverman has been saying a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, she needs to keep quiet. Really, I think she needs
Yes.
to keep quiet. I think
Yes.
that the I mean, wouldn't you agree, Herbert? I know you want to close down Sylbourne, but the question came into my mind, Herbert. Don't you think that the general election that we have just had, don't you think it's a protest vote against the Conservative Party? Is that the right terminology?
Yeah, I mean, when you have people like Braverman and Liz Truss, that's the bottom of the barrel, right? No one wants to be governed by loose cannons.
Yeah, and you know you're right, in a sense, not apportioning words to the ladies, but what people are saying is that we can't trust these guys.
No,
because they keep putting all these different people in front of us. They drop Liz Truss on us instead of the waboom, everything just blow up. You know what I'm trying to say? We got Rishi Sunak, Boris Johnson, and everything. Now we can't deal with this. And then somebody said this when they said to Rishi Sunak, if you win the election, can we guarantee that you're going to still be the prime minister within 2 years? Because of course the 1922 committee can just change up things because people start to put in their letters, and of course there's been even some sort of chaos in regards to the appointment of a new chair for the 1922 committee. So the Conservative need to really stop and do a rethink, and not just to get anybody in as yet. There got to be some sort of level of there got to be some high level stuff dealing with it.
There has to be some stability, because
Yes.
I really believe that Hunt, Jeremy Hunt, I think he would be the most
Effective.
most suitable person
Yes.
to kind of stabilize, even if it's for a year, just to stabilize the party, because he's the only one that's been around for donkeys.
And you know, the funny thing about Hunt, when he became the chancellor, everybody was really wishy, but he came in and steadied things. You know what I mean? He brought this sort of seriousness and this
there
sameness.
must be an adult in the room,
Yeah, he was the adult in the room, isn't it? In a sense.
right? And it's I think it's too early now for them to be talking about leaders.
Yes.
Let the election defeat soak in a little bit.
Yes.
Do some self-inspection on what went wrong, how they went wrong, and how to fix what went wrong before they start talking about a new leader. It's like an individual coming out of a divorce, and before you know it, he's married again.
Yeah, don't just jump in like that. You know, take some time out. Time out.
Yeah.
All right. Well, okay. Well, we'll follow up on this. There's much more to come on that. I'm going to take in question time now. Gary, have a good night. Bertie, Herbert, have a good night as well. And Michelle and those on Facebook and YouTube, have a good night. And, peace out. Remember to like and subscribe to the show. And au revoir. Ciao.